So the Topsport Master Driver Series moves down to Lichtenburg in the Western Transvaal in the Maize Belt for the fourth round of the series to decide which two drivers are going through to the final to join the other 6 finalists sometime in June. As before, it was split into a rally stage, into an autotest stage or gymkhana, and then a race to finish the action down in Lichtenburg. Now, there's one of the prominent rallyists. They were expected to do well. He comes from Pretoria, has a very good history in rallying, and they went on to a 2.4 kilometre rally stage. Smooth for the first part of it, and then it got rough, as you can see here, with these little Toyota Corolla 16 valves, really getting a workout there from some of the fastest drivers in the country. The drivers in this test, they were rallyists, that being Glenn Gibbons, you're in the car with him now, Hannes Grobler was there, and also Koos from the Eastern Transvaal. There were 2 motorcyclists, Rodney, a legend in his own right, and Dave Hiscock. Between them, they've got 14 South African motorcycle titles, and then 3 saloon car drivers, Ben Morganrood, Basil, Mann, and Hilton, Cowie. Here we are at work, Glenn Gibbons. Alongside him, he's got Willem van Rooyen acting as ballast and as navigator, and you can see those cars really getting a hammer. It's first gear and second gear work as he comes round to the finish and accelerates up to the line. Gets the flag from Des Andrew Gray. Very good time at 2 minutes and 8 seconds.
Good. Shit, it's still slugging in there. Yeah, maar hy moet dit nog wat doen, hè?
Twice South African class rally champion Glenn Gibbons really flying in that backstage there, literally flying.
Yeah, we got it a bit airborne over there, and then I was a bit worried about the mud, but we tapped off. I think I shouldn't have tapped off. I lost a couple of seconds, valuable seconds, I think.
Yeah, well, 5 seconds better than practice is pretty good.
Yeah, I was hoping for a 2:06, but sometimes you can't get what you want, eh?
Well, he's certainly one of the favourites for this round of the Master Drivers. Right, here's a man who's a legend in rallying and off-road racing. You just see he's a double champion. He's also an off-road champion. He's got his Springbok colours to boot, and he is really giving that car a work over. His practice time was 2 minutes 8.1. Let's see if he's going to beat it this time. Just going around the circuit before, he put the fear into the sponsor by saying, are you strut strong enough to take this car jumping, or yumping as they like to call it in rallying, as he goes flat out. Hannes depends on the rev limiter, rev count. He hasn't got time to look at that one as he really gives it a workout. Rory Brown from Drive Magazine alongside him, and Rory spent a lot of the day acting as navigator to not only the rally drivers but the motorcyclists and the saloon car race as well. Here he comes. Watch this. This is a real tough section. And he jumps, as you can see the front wheel locking there. Now it's all wheel spin on his way up to the line there. First gear, and the wheels just keep spinning away, and he hardly makes progress as he comes up to get the flag. And a very good time there from Hannes Grobler. And hear the stones rattling under the mud guards. Front-wheel drive cars are new to you, Hannes?
Definitief, Roger. Hy bestuur nogal snaaks. Hy reageer heeltemal anders as 'n agterwiel aangedrewe kar, soos die Skylines wat ons aan gewoond is. Ek het byvoorbeeld op die eerste oefenronde het ek amper van die pad af gery omdat ek my voet plat neergesit het toe ons in 'n draai gekom en gedink sy agtersewe gaan uitkom en toe het hy amper reguit aangery vorentoe. Maar ons het uitgekom.
Well, he only knows one speed, and that's absolutely flat out. Just a second faster than his practice time, so it shows how quickly he reads the road going blind. Here's one of the favourites, takes his rallying very seriously from Middelburg in the Eastern Transvaal. And once again, the brave Rory Brown, he's been with World Championship motorcyclists, he's been with the rally drivers, saloon car drivers, and here he is again, navigating with Koos. They gathered at the Holiday in Pretoria the night before, all very relaxed, taking it all very casual, until this morning, but at the start of this rally stage, when they all got very serious about this competition. Still give that outward appearance of being relaxed, but inside, they're taking it very seriously. Air of nervousness about, you see drivers walking around on their own, trying to sum things up, walking the course to see where it goes. Tricky this section, there was some deep mud there. Started to get the car out of control. He's a smooth one as Koos. His normal navigator is Dave McGregor from Carl Army. Doesn't quite get the wheels as airborne as Hannes as he comes out. Now it's all wheel spin. Mud on the screen. And he hardly makes progress. He goes away from the corners. Those tyres just fight to get a grip across the flag. Very good time there from Koos Roos. Well, 5 seconds faster than practice, certainly a big improvement on his time, and that should take him through to third position.
It was quick. I think so. Yep. Well done.
Koos Roos, the pride of the Eastern Transvaal. Now you're cooking with gas, Koos.
Hello, Roger. It was a bit wild. The first time on practice I overcooked things, and I think I took it a bit too easy at the point where I went off in practice. That's, you know, it's a substantial difference there that I wouldn't have liked, you know, I would have liked to have done better, but I think I was a bit too easy on it this time around.
You lost a lot of seconds there in this final run into the line. The car just didn't seem to want to move away from the corner.
Yeah, I think I went into the hairpin too quickly. You know, you tell yourself that you don't, that you know, you won't do it and all that, but when you get to it, I tend to get carried away, sort of thing. And I just overcooked it, and I went wide. And that was it, you know, it's a few seconds, it's 2-3 seconds gone down the drain. And there's nothing you can do about it. But I'm happy. I'm happy to be finished with this lot.
Well, Rodney Gray from Pietermaritzburg needs no introduction to South African motorsport fans. 9 South African championships on 2 wheels, and this is his first taste of the dirt. Guess whose navigator is? Once again, Rory Brown, going in for some more punishment. And Rod Gray, not in leathers this time, but in an overall borrowed from his friend in Pietermaritzburg, and that's Pat Duckham, normally seen in the West Bank racing. And Rodney Gray certainly given a good account of himself. Very smooth. He's ridden in some enduros, done a wee bit of non-serious motocrossing, but Rodney just has a touch for a motor vehicle and getting the most out of it. First time he's ever been on the dirt as he hurries along this back section. It's a mixture of stones. You can hear them rattling under the mud guards of the Corolla 16 valve. Doesn't want to make a mistake here. There's water waiting for you if anything goes wrong here. This is the tricky part of the wheels want to get airborne. Giving that suspension a workout. Those cars have certainly stood up very well to the hammer. Look at that smooth. He's got a feeling for a vehicle. Now it's all wheel spin to the line. He's in first and letting go into second. That's a clever thing to do. Rory Brown's impressed, you can hear, as he gets the flag at a very respectable time. And we're going to have a handbrake turn. We certainly are, as he comes back to us to talk to him.
Just a little bit. We should have maybe get the handbrake. This was fantastic, yeah.
No, got through there good.
Oh, very. That's the quickest anyone's been through this.
Right, 9-time South African motorcycle champion on 2 wheels and now doing very good times indeed, Rodney, on the dirt. This is the first time out?
Right, first time I've ever been on the dirt, and let me tell you, it's something else. I admire those valley drivers.
Yeah. And any anxious moments?
Well, I got to the mud hole, and Dave Hiscock said we just put it back to third and boot it, and I did that. That would seem to be okay. Then when I got to the hairpin, I should have used a bit of a handbrake, but with being inexperienced with the handbrake, I ran a little bit wide, and I would say I lost about 2 or 3 seconds through there. Otherwise, I was quite happy.
Of course, you know, every motorcyclist in South Africa is rooting for you for the final.
Well, I'll tell you what, against the car axe, it's going to be very hard, and I can just give it my best shot.
So there's the results of the first stage, almost as expected. Rally drivers 1, 2 and 3, but the car racers and the motorcyclists doing very well and putting up respectable times. And the points, you get 10 for a win, down to 1 for 8th position. Hannes Grobler and Glenn Gibbons well positioned there. So we're into the main parking area in Lichtenburg for the autotest, or Gymkhana as it's generally known. And this is where the fortunes of the drivers are really at stake. The competition can be won or lost here. Also a little bit of luck, and of course the adrenaline is really pumping. See what I mean? They look at that concentration. He's got to do 40 seconds or better. A rally champion, very fast, knows how to handle a car, and one of the up-and-coming youngsters in South African motorsport. Smooth all the way. This test is 25 metres to that centre pylon, 25 metres to the first garage. You've got to straddle the lines. Reverse it in this one. Straddle the lines again. It's always hard to find reverse. You've got to take it slowly through the gate, get into neutral and pull it back to reverse. Around the centre pylon, do a 360 there, as you can see, using the handbrake. He locks the back wheel, and that's why they call 5 stones 5 stones. as he goes into the garage, spins it there, then it's 25 metres across past that pylon. Oh, something went wrong there. As he spins it into the final area, he's got a straddle line, and that's his time. Very good time indeed. They liked it. You are spectacular, Glenn.
I don't think I meant to be. I left the handbrake up in the block over there, but otherwise it was all right.
Well, Basil Mann, a man who's been in motorsport a long, long time with a lot of experience in single-seaters and production car races, very competent driver indeed. There's a serious look as well, means to do well. A lot of the saloon car drivers are rooting for him. He's done 50 metres already, doing a very good time. He's used to driving, he races these cars. These are the Avanti 16-valve Toyotas. The ones have been used for the other parts of this test. Always gone wide, he's going to waste seconds there. Basil's chances are going out of the window. 25 metres towards us. Lichtenburg, this is the centre of town in this maize belt in the Western Transvaal. Also sunflowers, famous for its cement and also for General Delaray. Into the garage, uses the handbrake. Here he comes out. He's playing it pretty carefully as Basil wants to be there, doesn't want to make any mistakes. So far, no penalties. A little bit of time getting reversed as he goes and gets his time. No mistakes, Basil.
Well, it was better to rather go a bit safer than knock the ball out and take a 10-second penalty. But this is different. You really have to concentrate here and try and be smooth, and also at the same time try and have enough control to throw the car around and know where you're going back. I was observing these rally guys. They just got it to a fine knot. You really need a bit of practice at it.
Well, that's Basil Mann, totally committed with his family to motorsport in South Africa. Koos Roos again from Middelburg. He wants to get to that final. Very competent driver. Drives the big Nissan Skyline 6s in Class B for the Nissan Works team. Ooh, and he's giving those tyres a workout. Took about 10,000 kilometres of tread off there in one go. Nice smooth performance so far. Oh, taking time there. That's the one. He's just got to take that reverse slowly and easily. There he goes. He's getting a little bit cross with himself. That car's up on the rev limiter as he goes into the garage, spins it. Quickest one out of there. Very nice indeed. There it is. Reverse into this. And the crowd's going to love this one. It's all smoke and action from Koos.
41.2.
Koos Roos, fastest in practice. The pressure really on you.
Yeah, I couldn't get reversed there. That caught me. I wasn't backing or, I wasn't hoping for that. And, I just couldn't get it into reverse, and that's easy in second, It's a second gone.
And now Ben Morganrood. This is a driver that certainly pushes on there. Very capable. He's a South African Group N champion, as you see. Runs a successful panel-beating business in Randfontein. Some of us on this leg of the master drivers thought he was almost looking for business out there, hunting for panel-beating business, because he certainly presses on. And it was during this part of the test that there's a little old lady in Lichtenburg decided this is her time to go shopping, and in the middle of it all she just drove straight across the area here, found an empty parking spot because there were plenty available, closed the door and went in shopping, and everybody just stood there aghast. Even the cameramen weren't able to record it. Everybody just couldn't believe it. She just drove straight across this whole business with the television vans and everything. A nice performance by Ben Morganrood. That's a capable driver you see in action there.
It's like running around there.
Ben, a big improvement on your practice time.
Yes, we had to improve on the practice time. We were the second car out, and I'm not used to doing the shopping myself. My wife normally goes in the parking lot.
Why are you puffing?
Damn hard work.
Well, the Nissan team certainly renowned for employing action drivers in their rally team. And here's the captain, Grobler. All action. Normally used to 700 horses in that 4x4 rally car, that Skyline of his, but giving a very good performance in this front-wheel drive, unfamiliar to him. And the Avanti also giving of its best, that little 1600cc 16-valve motor, really working overtime. So far during the test, and this is the last driver to do it, we haven't had a penalty point lost, and let's see if Hannes can keep up that record. A little bit of a hold up there as he goes through. He overused the handbrake, but a very respectable time. If you're into there in 30 seconds, you're doing well. Here he comes for the finish with that final spin, going very fast. Got to reverse it in, and there he is. Very good time for Hannes Grobler. Hannes, fantastic. That's the fastest time anybody's ever done.
Baie dankie Roger. Ons moes dit net aanhou dat ons nou nie die bollards omstamp nie, maar ek dink ons is daarso.
Well, it's the same again. The rallyists 1, 2 and 3 in the same order as they did in the rally stages, but the saloon car drivers in there, and that's the closest set of times we've had in the whole competition. Still very competitive. With the points, Hannes Grobler almost through to the final, but the pressure on Glenn Gibbons. Basil Mann with an out chance of getting into that final. So finally we move out of town to the Blue Circle Raceway. It's been in existence for 10 years now as a national and a club racing circuit. It's very tight. It's 1.6 kilometres long, and those tight corners make it very difficult to pass, and of course the surface known to be slippery. Now we've never had it closer than this with this bunch of 8 competitors, and before the race we spoke to some of them to see how they are going to play this 15-lapper. Dave, how do you feel about getting in with the heavies of rallying and racing?
Oh, I'm enjoying this. I'm very much enjoying the circuit here. I'm just going to try not to make any mistakes like I did in the other sections. That cost me all my time before, and just try and stay out of trouble. I hope nobody pushes me because I get pushed back.
Dave, the circuit a bit slippery?
The circuit's very slippery, and that should be the whole thing, not to make a mistake. If you make a mistake, that's it.
Now you shine on street circuits. I mean, this sort of circuit doesn't worry you at all.
No, this is easy, but it's difficult to win. You know, but it's easy to drive.
I see the longest skid marks at the bottom corner. Who put those on the road?
That's mine. That's mine. I'm not going to leave any more, hopefully.
A little bit of gearbox selection problems there?
Yes, I kept sticking into first gear instead of third gear, and it doesn't give me a very good grid position today.
So how are you going to overcome that?
Well, maybe I'll jump the start by 10 seconds.
And maybe just keep it in one gear?
Stick it in second gear and hold it there. No, I'll just have to be more careful with the selection. No power shifting, and take it easy and make sure it's in the right gear and see how many guys we can pick off.
Hilton, one of 2 Formula 4 drivers on the front row.
Yeah, I've only driven against Basil in Formula 4s, but this will be the first time out in a Group N car against him. I think it should be interesting.
Well, he's a very quiet, modest man, and a champion to boot, but dynamite when he gets behind of any sort of racing car. As you can see, the saloon car drivers 1 and 2 in the front row, and it's flying the rally flag in second position. The motorcycle's doing very well in third position, shattered the others a wee bit, and Ben Morganrood not being able to make up his mind between first and third gear. He's at the back. That's unfamiliar position for a South African Group N champion. But they're waiting for the flag. We're looking backwards from Hilton Cowie's car. Basil Mann is alongside him. He's going to come into frame in a moment or two, and look who's come through. Hannes Grobler's come through to third position. There's Mann, used to driving these Toyota Conquest RSIs, these little 16-valve, 1600cc cars. Into the double right-hander they come, and it's Cowie, and it's Mann, and Grobler. And there's Glenn Gibbons going for him. He should be happiest doing this. He's a rallyist, and they love it on the dirt. They do it in the dirt all the time, and he's pushed himself back to the back position there. Rodney Gray didn't get a particularly good start. I see Ben Morgan in that white car's moved up a spot ahead of Koos Roos. And nothing between the 2 leaders. There's Mann with Grobler on his tail as they go down to the bottom corner. It's a tight one. Heavy on the brakes as we go round there, and we're in with Hannes Grobler. Ahead of him he's got Basil Mann, got a nice exit out of the corner, quick one, and Cowie just ahead of him. You can just peer around the mirror, you'll see Cowie ahead of it. And Hannes is giving it everything that little 16-valve has got. I don't think he's worrying about the rev counter this time either. It's third, he's holding it there. He says that motor's going to do it onto the rev limiter, round the right-hander. Now you start to straighten up, use a bit of gravel, he's happy there. You straighten it up and go very heavy into the corner. And there's a battle royal that's developing. Ben Morganrood's moving up a spot, Koos Roos, then Rodney Gray and Glenn Gibbons trying to push his luck there as he goes through the inside. Does it work this time? Not really. Oh, there's traffic jams. There's going to be panel beating after this race. And this round, in fact, was one of the most competitive rounds we've had, with the competitors very close in all the tests that they did, particularly here in the racing. You can see how close it is. And now we're in with Ben Morganrood, and this is our South African saloon car champion does it. Ahead of him, the New Zealander Dave Hiscock, now settled in South Africa, and 5-time South African motorcycle champion. A little bit slow getting out of there. Oh, and Ben has gone into him. He'll need some new ATE signage on that motor car afterwards, and off goes Ben Morganrood. Now he's really serious on catching up that group that lies ahead of him. Here's Morganrood, there's Koos, Roos, Rodney Gray's behind him, and Glenn Gibbons, and there's Dave Hiscock just picking himself up by the bootlaces. Still the order, Hilton, Cowie in the front, Basil, Mann, Grobler, and here comes Ben Morganrood trying to make up places, and Koos Roos has a coming together with Rodney Gray there. More panel beating on those Toyotas. Rodney's on the left-hand side of your screen, Koos Roos in the white car. Got the wipers going, these hands must have just gone for every switch that he could find. So Rodney's ahead of him. Is he going to hold it to the end? Glenn Gibbons comes next, and then it's Dave Hiscock coming along in 8th position. Tight circuits, you can see those cars really get a workout on this track. And here they come again, and this time it's Rodney Gray with Koos Roos intent on getting past him. Just look at the damage on those doors, and Koos goes on the inside. He outbrakes him. Is he going to hold it as he goes round there? It's a tight one as they go into the main straight, and he goes wide, and Rodney's powering it on as he comes out. Very close, tucks in behind him. That is a battle that's been going on all the time. Here they come again. Not too far behind, we've got Glenn Gibbons. Rodney's tucked in behind him, getting a real taste of saloon car racing. Roos and Gray, Glenn Gibbons just behind. Ahead of them they can see Morganrood, they can see Grobler, Mann and Cowie. Here they come. We're now into the last lap there. Koos Roos going to hold off Rodney Gray. They love pulling that, getting onto the dirt and pulling some of the rough stuff onto the track. Koos, a very competent saloon car driver. He drove in Group 1 racing and Group A racing, so he's no stranger to racing on the tar, and nor is Rodney Gray. And here they come to the line. It's going to be Hilton Cowie from Cape Town. Very good performance with Basil Mann behind, getting the flag from Des Andrew Gay. 1 and 2 for them. And here we are in with Ben Morganrood. That's Hannes Grobler ahead. He's slowing, and I think it's a big mistake. I think that Hannes thought it was Koos Roos behind him and wanted him through to collect the points. In fact, a surprise as Ben Morganrood comes through. And Koos Roos comes through ahead of Rodney Gray. There's Glenn Gibbons coming in the far distance. So when they added up all the points, once again, Rallius going through to the final, Hannes Grobler and Glenn Gibbons. But it was close, as you can see from those points, not much between them all. So there are the 8 finalists after 4 very tough qualifying rounds. From left to right at the top there, Jeff Mortimer, the Springbok rallyist and saloon car driver as well, incidentally. Steve Winden, the saloon car driver. Serge Damsou, the rallyist. Nick Duval, the rallyist. Colin Hastie, very capable in a saloon car. And the bottom row, Cassie could see it from the Eastern Transvaal, Glenn Gibbons and Hannes Grobler. It's going to be a needle match in June. We'd love you to come and see the final, and closer to the time we'll give you the details in Topsport.